109. Metempsychosis. Mr. Lin, who took his master's degree in the same year as the late Mr. Wen Pai, could remember what had happened to him in his previous state of existence, and once told the whole story as follows. I was originally of a good family, but after leading a very dissolute life, I died at the age of 62. On being conducted into the presence of the King of Purgatory, he received me civilly, bade me be seated, and offered me a cup of tea. I noticed, however, that the tea in His Majesty's cup was clear and limpid, while that in my own was muddy, like the lees of wine. It then flashed across me that this was the potion which was given to all disembodied spirits to render them oblivious of the past. And accordingly, when the king was looking the other way, I seized the opportunity of pouring it under the table, pretending afterwards that I had drunk it all up. My record of good and evil was now presented for inspection, and when the king saw what it was, he flew into a great passion and ordered the attendant devils to drag me away and send me back to earth as a horse. I was immediately seized and bound, and the devils carried me off to a house, the door sill of which was so high I could not step over it. While I was trying to do so, the devils behind lashed me with all their might, causing me such pain that I made a great spring, and lo and behold, I was a horse in a stable. The Mari has got a nice colt. I then heard a man call out. But although I was perfectly aware of all that was passing, I could say nothing myself. Hunger now came upon me, and I was glad to be suckled by the Mare. And by the end of 4 or 5 years, I had grown into a fine strong horse, dreadfully afraid of the whip, and running away at the very sight of it. When my master rode me, it was always with a saddlecloth, and at a leisurely pace which was bearable enough. But when the servants mounted me barebacked, and dug their heels into me, the pain struck into my vitals, and at length I refused all food, and in 3 days I died. Reappearing before the King of Purgatory, His Majesty was enraged to find that I had thus tried to shirk working out my time, and flaying me forthwith, condemned me to go back again as a dog. And when I did not move, the devils came behind me and lashed me until I ran away from them into the open country, where, thinking I had better die right off, I jumped over a cliff and lay at the bottom unable to move. I then saw that I was among a litter of puppies, and that an old bitch was licking and suckling me by turns, whereby I knew that I was once more among mortals. In this hateful form I continued for some time, longing to kill myself, and yet fearing to incur the penalty of shirking. At length I purposely bit my master in the leg and tore him badly, whereupon he had me destroyed, and I was taken again into the presence of the king, who was so displeased with my vicious behavior that he condemned me to become a snake and shut me up in a dark room where I could see nothing. After a while, I managed to climb up the wall, bore a hole in the roof, and escape. And immediately I found myself lying in the grass, a veritable snake. Then I registered a vow that I would harm no living thing, and I lived for some years, feeding upon berries and such like, ever remembering neither to take my own life, nor by injuring anyone to incite them to take it, but longing all the while for the happy release which did not come to me. One day, as I was sleeping in the grass, I heard the noise of a passing cart, and on trying to get across the road out of its way, I was caught by the wheel and cut in two. The king was astonished to see me back so soon, but I humbly told my story, and, in pity for the innocent creature that loses its life, he pardoned me and permitted me to be born again at my appointed time as a human being. Such was Mr. Lin's story. He could speak as soon as he came into the world, and could repeat anything he had once read. In the year 1621, he took his master's degree and was never tired of telling people to put saddlecloths on their horses, and recollect that the pain of being gripped by the knees is even worse than the lash itself.
Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more excellent content.